Hey everybody, Karyn Bryant for MMA H.E.A.T. Of course, I'm here with Alexander Gustafsson, the UFC's #1 ranked light heavyweight. Yesterday, you came to see us at UFC Tonight. Was that the most awkward interview you've ever been in with DC?
By far, yeah. That was the most awkward interview I've ever done. And I've been in some interviews with Jon Jones and different opponents, but this was the most awkward interview ever.
But you did a great job and you handled it very well. I feel like one thing about it, one of the themes that came up that really kind of got DC a little bit irritated was the whole interim title talk, right? So how realistic do you think it is that an interim title could happen for you?
I think it's very realistic, and that's the only thing I want right now, because with an interim title, I will make sure that I'm getting the title. I have to. That's the only guarantee I have to fight DC basically, or fighting for the real belt. So that's why I'm looking for an interim title all the time, and I'm saying it all the time in interviews and so on. So I just with that with the interim title on my waist, DC can't turn me down.
Yeah. Well, it's tricky though, right? Because there's no hard and set rules about how long somebody's off before they make an interim title. DC just fought in January. He's going to fight Stipe in July. So potentially he could fight you again in like September, October or something, right?
Sounds great. You know, that's I think that's sounds really realistic, and for me.
So my point is, you wouldn't need an interim title, is I guess. Would you wait till September or October or something without the opportunity for an interim title?
I would love to fight before that. I think that would be the best for me. And with that said, that fight have to be an interim title.
Okay.
Because when I have that around my waist, then you know whatever DC wants to do, basically.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that, as long as I have that belt from my waist.
Well, in your ideal world, then, what's better for you? That DC beats Stipe and just says, I don't think I can go back down to 205, or that DC loses to Stipe and then has to come back to you at 205?
Well, I would love to fight DC. We had a great first matchup, and let's have a second one. So, and I will fight before. I will fight. In the meantime, and I make sure I'm in the position to face him.
So let's imagine he wins and he beats Stipe. Would you chase him and fight him at heavyweight instead? Like, you know what I mean? I mean, I know there's other people at heavyweight that are going to say they have dibs, but you have a compelling story and obviously an incredible fight before.
I'm flexible.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying no to that. So the big question here is it really DC going to make 205 again?
That's what I was going to ask you. You saw him yesterday. You got to size him up. And DC, I love DC. Everybody knows that, but DC.
No, I'm not really sure anymore, because I know he has great willpower.
Yes.
and all that, but man, he's too heavy now. He's too heavy. He's too fat. So yeah, let's see what happens.
Okay. In the meantime, also the idea of you, though, just in general, going up to heavyweight at some point. Something you said yesterday, which I guess I just didn't realize. He's only 31, folks, and which is so great. I feel like that's such a good thing, and you have a lot of time left. But was that a plan for you at one point anyway to fight at heavyweight later in your career, maybe?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, like I said to you, I'm flexible, and whatever it takes me, I'm down for that. Mm-hmm. So.
Cool. Well, question for you then. You just, in fact, we might even be able to get a beauty shot of you signing your new contract. But you are going to be staying with the UFC for quite some time now, yes, right?
Yes. We just had a new deal, and that's one of the key things why I came here to America and LA. So it's done now, and I'm very grateful. I'm in a very happy place, and I'm feeling very good right now. And it's, you know, I done it together with Nima here, and with Majdi. So we're like doing it together, and I'm feeling good. What's the name of your management again? Moments.
Moments, yes. Well, and the thing is there language in there specifically about getting title shots and stuff? Is that something that you are able to get a hard and fast actual written?
Yeah, we made sure we covered everything, so we'll be in this happy place.
Nice.
So no, it's we done it together, and you know, with the Moments management here, and I'm feeling great. I'm feeling fine. We're strong, a great strong team, and we're just looking forward, and we want big things.
Cool. Well, what's frustrating as a fan of yours is that I've only seen you in the octagon 3 times, since 2015, which is heartbreaking. Probably more so for you. I'm sure you're the one. Yeah. So it's encouraging that we know that you're going to be here for a while and that you're only 31.
I'm not going anywhere. I just had some bad luck with some injuries and stuff, and the thing is, as you're climbing the rankings, you just fight less. It's not you want to fight. You want to have those fights that really takes you somewhere, and just not for fighting. It has to be a thought behind it, and that's why it is what it is. But with this new contract, and I got this great team behind me, and I'm so excited, so motivated, and really looking forward to it.
So does that mean they had offered you some fights that just weren't smart for you to take, that wouldn't move you forward? I mean, you're at number 1. There's only one place more you can go.
That's the thing. As a person, I can't look behind me. I have to look forward. And for me, look forward. It's just that guy, and it takes a lot to make things happen and make everything realistic. So, but here we are, and we're just looking for that right fight right now.
Well, the question obviously is then, and DC asked you this during the interview too, if you were to have an interim title, who's it against, right? Because we know for now Jon is out of the picture, and we'll talk about Jon in a second because I definitely have questions about that. But Volkan Oezdemir is ranked behind you. Then we start talking about guys like Glover, who you've beaten, Blachowicz, who you've beaten, Ilir Latifi, who you won't fight, and who, by the way, though, is such a cool dude. I love him. He's fantastic.
He's great.
And I know that you guys train together sometimes, right? And you train with Jimi Manuwa, right?
Yeah, we're teammates.
Yeah, so there's guys here who, I mean, am I to assume you would never fight?
At this point in my career, I'm so obsessed about getting that belt, and we're talking interim belts all the time, and that's just one of the things that I'll face anyone as long as it's about the interim title, and by winning that, I'm making sure that DC is not going anywhere.
I guess it would have to. Yeah. I guess the most sense is Volkan in a way, because you haven't fought him. Yeah. But Volkan just lost to DC.
Well, yeah, exactly. So whatever they put in front of me, I'm done with that. As long as it is about the strap.
So let's talk about Jon Jones, because obviously for you, for DC, you guys have had great fights with him. Yours was legendary. You know what I mean? Like nobody will forget that fight. Nobody, the pictures of you guys after and everything, where that's just sort of a benchmark fight for a lot of people.
Yes.
So where does that rate for you when you look back on that? What kind of memory do you have of that fight with Jon?
Only great memories. It was a great step in my career. Even if I lost that fight, it was still a great step for me. And Jon is just Jon. Like I said at the UFC tonight, yesterday, just fighting him, just beat Jon Jones. It's just bigger than anything right now, because that's everybody knows who he is and what he's done in the division. Nobody is like that dominant as he's been. So I will fight him any day. I'll fight him in MMA. I'll fight him in boxing too. I'll beat him in 3 rounds. I'm seeing him boxing.
3 rounds.
I've seen him boxing in his garage, and he looks good. But whatever we fight. Just me fighting him, it's a big motivation for me.
So if you say you can beat him in 3 rounds in boxing, then is it? I mean, because you were able to take DC down. So why do you think that you can beat him in boxing in 3 rounds, but you weren't quite able to get the win in an MMA fight?
My hands is just too good for him.
Yeah.
He can't use his. That's Jon Jones. Whatever you take to fight, he's good at it. So MMA, of course, it's fighting in MMA, fighting him for the title in the UFC. It's the biggest thing you can do. But if we can't do that, let's box. Yeah. Let's wrestle.
Did you talk to Dana about that? Is there any language for that in your contract to be able to just go in straight box instead, or would it have to be under? Dana sometimes wears that Zuffa boxing shirt.
Exactly. Let's see what we do. Let's see how it works, everything. But just make it done.
Well, and somehow I've talked to DC about this too, right? Because Jon is the measuring stick, right, John? You know, everybody wants to be the first person to beat him.
Yes.
And so in a way, you're saying it would be worth more to you than to beat John and not have the belt. Like, let's say it was in the backyard or whatever, but you beat John. That's the thing, right?
That's the thing. That's the thing. He's the best guy out there in our division.
So how frustrating is it that he's not playing right now? Like,
no,
I mean, it's nuts.
No, it's really sad. It's really sad for us fighters and also for the sport, because that's he's just a big motivation for all of us in the division.
I agree.
Fighting him and beat him.
Yeah, and it's tough because it's easy for people to pile on about his mistakes and things like that. But I feel like a lot of people do.
I hope it comes back.
Well, and I guess that's my point. It's right. It's almost out of like frustration and sadness, not out of judgment, right? It's just more please get your stuff together because we need you 100%. Back. Not out of judgment 100%. Of like you're a screw up. Yeah.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
You want him back.
Yeah. Come on, John. We need that to happen. You know, it's so interesting to me though. Just the ideal, as I mentioned, that you haven't fought in so long. So what do you do when you're sitting there and you're watching all these things happen in the division and you're just trying to heal from your injury or whatever, and you're watching this happen? What's your take on what's been going on with it for the last couple of years?
It's very frustrating. It is. As a competitor, it's really tough to be on the bench, looking at everybody else competing and doing their thing. But at the same time, I'm not in a hurry. I'm not in stress. I'm 31 years old and I'm feeling like I just started. So I'm not stressing at all. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity.
Cool. And you're going to be a daddy again. This guy's breaking the fighter curse.
I do.
Got a boy.
Yeah, a boy in September.
Nice. So. And is that what people talk about how being a father changed them at all? I mean, are you a different guy than you were before?
100%. 100%. I feel much more motivated. I feel like I'm a better person, and you just do it for yourself anymore. You do it for the family, and that's just wakes a fire in you.
Would you let your daughter be a fighter?
No. No.
That was like instantaneous. Hell to the no.
I'll do the fighting part. She can do something else.
Yeah. But in a way, I mean, you're not as guy that necessarily fighting saved your life, but fighting and the discipline of that was something that at one point you really needed in your life, yeah?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
I got everything from MMA.
Nice. And so I feel like, I don't know how the vibe is in Sweden. Obviously, we know, like you and Ilir and Jimi are working together, and there's been other people in the past, like Korsani and stuff, but what's the take on fighting in Sweden right now? Is it something
it's big? Yeah, it's really big. It's the fastest growing sport in Sweden right now, and everybody knows who I am right now.
So you're kind of a big deal. That's what I was just going to say.
I am, and it's amazing. It's amazing to see, because when I started, it was just something you did in the basement. Nobody knew about it. Yeah. Nowadays, it's a mainstream sport. So
yeah. Now it's just the trolls are in the basement type thing. That's
exactly. We put them exactly.
Yeah, totally.
All the trolls.
Well, I have to say, it's a bit of it's actually kind of a kismet that we're doing this now, because it was 6 years ago. It was April of 2012 that I first started with Fox, and going to Sweden for your fight was the first one I did with you and Thiago Silva. So it's been a 6-year thing, and I love to say that like both of us are crushing it right now. So hey, nice. I love it. Well, listen. Yeah. So I'm so glad that we were able to catch up with you a little bit before you went. And I will say, folks, yesterday on the punching machine, that thing is actually the most frustrating thing on the planet.
Yeah, it was just crazy. I wasn't hitting that soft or that weak.
Well, but no, and that's the thing. So in rehearsals, he's getting in the 960 range. He's totally crushing this thing, right? So he totally did, because DC is the champ of the punching machine right now.
Yes,
Mike Bisping was for a little while, and then
Don't forget, he weighs 260 pounds now.
So Pat Barry,
and his arms like up here to me. So,
right.
He has his weight behind it.
Right. So no, but that's the tricky thing about this machine, right? So you got to do a few practice runs on it, but I do actually think that the more the thing gets hit, the less high the scores go, right? So you guys were playing on it for a little while, and when it came time for you to do it on the show, it had been hit a lot, and I think they're registering lower scores.
And I think when you guys putting up DC's face on the machine, I just felt too sad for him. I didn't want to hit him that hard. I take it easy with him.
Yeah, if you miss it, we stuck a little picture of him. It's very funny. And the thing is too, is most people take a running start. Yeah. You were firmly planted. Like you were probably more.
No, I heard DC was actually, he did a 100-meter sprint to do that.
Totally, and he was winded, right? He's funny. Like I say that as a joke. Like you know, I love you some DC, but he might have legit been tired, right? So, but it's funny
great.
because no, that thing is very hard to deal with. So don't be saddened. But I've had to do it in heels.
I'm gonna go home now and practice.
Yeah. And but we all know, obviously, in a real fight, we've seen what you do to people, so we know that you
100%.
you could do much better than that. Awesome. Well, listen, it's such great news that you re-upped, and that we're gonna have you around for a while. Just please stay healthy.
I will.
Okay.
I promise you that.
And you're staying ready, right? Because obviously there's fights that could fall out. So what's your mentality as far as that goes?
Well, I'm gonna go home now today, and you know, I'm in camp, I'm training. So for, you know, if someone gets injured between DC and Stipe, I'm there. I'm there to step up, and I fight Stipe whenever, and I fight DC whenever for the heavyweight title. I'm around, so just give me a call.
It is International Fight Week, so we should have some international.
You know, I'm there. I'll probably be there, just watching it.
Just bring your gear, right?
I will.
Literally, Friday afternoon, stuff can happen.
I'll have everything with me. I'm ready.
Awesome. Well, safe travels home. Thanks for your time, Alex.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm Alexander Gustafsson, and you're watching MMA H.E.A.T.